You gave it up before you even tried, before you even gave it a shot. So why should I feel helpless? Why should I feel useless now? So find another way to get into my arms, to get into my heart again. Cause why should I feel helpless? Why should I feel useless now? Nobody's ever gonna hold me down. The night is young and we're afraid. Nobody's ever gonna throw me down. There's nothing left you can say. Nobody's ever gonna hold me down. The night is young and we're afraid. Nobody's ever gonna throw me down. There's nothing left you can say. Nobody's ever gonna hold me down. The night is young and we're afraid. Nobody's ever gonna throw me down. There's nothing left you can say. Nobody's ever gonna hold me down. The night is young and we're afraid. Nobody's ever gonna throw me down. There's nothing left you can say.
Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. I did notice that there has actually been some updates here. I don't know if there's anything that we care about. Wait, nothing to compare. Oh, yeah. Wait. It says CrossForks. On TechMaster, wherever I switched off. Okay, well, if GitHub is going to be broken, we can just do this ourselves. Sukai. Oh, and then all the branches. Okay, so all that stuff, they set Fibonacci to 0 by default. 6 process scripts. I mean, I may have already had to do something with that. Let's view tool filter. Property fence directional transitions. I mean, it's not going to affect me much. Filters, natural headline, dependencies. Must be a downstream dependency. Food scale to process script with defaults 0.5. I don't know that we it actually stuck at 0.5. Yeah, I don't do anything with food value. Hello, Hunter, hello. So food bonus, fail safe. Kind of hard to follow what changed there. Okay, so that got brackets. Boop, 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 boop. That was something else, I guess. Debug name. Maybe this is the recipe generator? Enable to complete recipe for. That might be interesting. The rest of it is not super relevant. Actually, this is recipes, which we don't really use at all. Still, there might be other stuff that we'd want to update for. All right. If we did a... I think it might just be. Yeah, and this would be a full-on merge. Oop, merge. Okay, no conflicts. Yeet. Yeet. All right, and now for the part that's probably going to break a lot. So do I need this anymore? I don't think I need this anymore. Oh, you know what? I should probably put you... Just because we got a lot of stuff. Maybe some of this could go there as well. So I don't even really need this server per se. mean, maybe it'd be interesting to have it set up, but I think that it's completely set up, that processing is a completely different process. Or a completely different, like, install. We have a npm, yes. Okay, I'm more familiar with the node version numbers as far as what's current. And this has always had a problem with Windows. It's possible that has improved in the meantime, but I may have to switch over to the Windows for Linux setup. Fail at canvas. Let's file at directory. So I don't know if I don't remember how big a problem this was before. If this is like it doesn't even exist to find for Windows. Or it just doesn't build. No repository. Well, that's okay. So that's the package here itself. And this one doesn't seem to be terribly enlightening. Canvas node jip rebuild exit status. One tech process. Canvas. This doesn't even seem to have the underlying error message. Cannot open include file cairo.h. So probably this just doesn't work on Windows. Yeah, node canvas for Windows. Oh. Well, that's part of your answer. There's another part of your answer. Well, Windows 8, this is an older answer. Windows 8, Visual Studio, Python 2, GTK. There's probably going to be... I don't know if there's a particular branch. XX. Well... maybe they just gave up. There's another installation Windows. No JIP. I think it's there. GTK2. This doesn't mention Python. Oh, Cairo, which is bundled with GTK. Well, you might have to do something with that for... I don't remember if I had to do that for the... I said, all right, so just for comparison, since this is an option. Is it shift? Oh. If we have an npm mount program files, that's still going to be... It's probably still going to run in Windows mode. Binsha, no file or directory? Well, it's probably a Windows version of npm. Windows, oh, this is a different terminal? Multiple Windows command prompt PowerShell. I assume that's optional. Oh, from just apt-get. Okay. Well, we still have the possibility of conflicts here because we do have things we want to do just plain Windows. Oh, this is referencing a specific version. Yep. Okay. Thinking the other shell there. Oh. Maybe we should look into the... Yep, Curdy is already installed. Maybe we should look... Because that's gonna... I guess it's no worse than a regular prompt. I guess I got used to the... Was it... It's like Cygwin window or something? The question is, do you have to have a Microsoft account for this? Okay, so that's just opening this thing. Now the question is, do you have to launch that directly? Or does that take over some of this stuff? Yeah, so the only problem is that it's not integrated yet. Wait, what did they call it? Windows Terminal. which defaults to PowerShell mode. Yeah, so one of the things that I really like is the ability to open. I mean, there's probably a way, if I wanted to dedicate time to, I could go around and. I mean, you could install stuff from here, but. Probably a way you can get that to launch from a directory. So this is still listed as 035. Close and reopen your terminal. All right. I guess mount program files npm. That's worrisome. Well, it's not findable, but it's there. Now, is this actually a terminal output issue? No. Mm. Node stable, unstable. Okay, so 14 is the Linux one. NVM. Now this could, depending on how the path gets set up, this could very, very much confuse other things. Healthy utilib, shell, pango. No JIP not found. Is there anything particular with NVM? Nothing particular. You don't even mention it. But could that be out of version relevance? Unable to locate package. But can be installed. That wasn't usually apt-get. No. No jip lib configure. Okay, so that's using a local one to this. Has lib shell, has lib pango. Jip failed exit code. So does that mean we have to install pango ourselves? The site processing. Okay, you'll need to install ImageMagick, Canvas dependencies, and then there's the sound processing. So we skipped a step. Now we have some version of ImageMagick. I don't know if it's going to be accessible to that. Canvas dependencies. npm install canvas. Unless previously installed. Okay, and that's pointing to the old one. Now this one did have the updated setup. Optional for JPEG support, no canvas depending on later. Okay, so well, maybe that's not too bad. But this would essentially be Ubuntu. libcairo2 dev. Oop. All right, that was that shell. Let's just install stuff. Psh. That might be a lot of stuff. Huh? Okay. Make failed. Uh, so, so what the heck have we done? We've had... I picked up some other shell stuff here. So curl should be unnecessary. I must... no, the curl command was nvm. Keep a separate document for now. And NVM is really probably irrelevant to if you just wanted to get like a server setup or something. Could probably this would probably be fine using an operating system version for that. If we're just trying to do a Docker build or something. So the canvas thing. So this is actually a little bit interesting that canvas is the main blocker. Because I've been wondering if I could just do browser construction of it. All right, so I think that's all we've done so far. And I actually had a similar problem on my Mac OS laptop, where I tried to set up new copies of this for like 2 Hours One Life, and you couldn't install it from scratch. I had to actually like copy my node modules that just worked. Interestingly enough, is there anybody else? Not. So pull request, bump website. Okay, so these are dependabot, scale food values. User. Add script. Which probably means that nobody's called this out or had suggestions about how to fix it. That's fine. Well, I mean, maybe Windows would be easier, but that wouldn't necessarily be useful if I wanted to set this up as some kind of automatic running environment. Async queue worker. JPEG stream is depreciated. Depreciated declarations. Well, these are only warnings. I don't think these would fail it. No matching function for V8 value, U32 value. Node.js 12. Do we just have to use it? Do you have to MVM back to something else? Okay, so that's referencing those. I don't know if it's failure. No matching function. Up, that's it. Recommending using transport if you don't need USB events. Multiple devices. That's not to the... That's got a whole lot of stuff. Oh, update to use Node USB that supports Node 12. So maybe this is an issue that you have to use an older version of Node. And hey, we installed NVM. I just need to make sure if it's shell no, that's that one. It's shell specific. Oh, long-term support. If that was having trouble at 12. Okay, so we're on that one. I don't know if there's like if there's anything you have to do for like JIP clean or something. So it's possible we could still have leftover stuff from that. Okay, warnings, but no errors yet. Okay. So, not install stable. No, NVM list. So we'll have to sort down the specific install version for that. So that's one of your issues. Argon, boron, carbon, dibonium, erbium. Interesting naming scheme. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, even numbers. So they must be doing the odd as dev thing. Oh, that was that shell. Which is apparently still picking up NVM. No, yeah, I did move it over here. Okay. And then... So if you're in the base, cd to process. Oh, this is this install script. npm install node process? Oh, So we've got this one tech package. That's dev and build. Why did you cd into process install and then down and then node process? Is there's process? But there's no process subdirectory here. Yeah, this seems not quite complete here. And then down here, node process wouldn't do anything. They could not have a command for that. For sounds, I probably would have sounds turned off. But there was a request for, yeah, my fork, which we were on mapping, shouldn't even do that. Node process. Download. I think I made sprites optional. Unfortunately, this part is a very doing this the first time is going to be pretty heavy. This is Army Nice Sound Programmings. This claims to be cross-platform. I don't remember if I get it to work or not. So is this like a command line program? Or is this something we library in? I may have removed the dependency if it was a dependency. Okay, we'd be looking for a change to, man, there's package lock. To package if I remove the dependency. Okay, and then that's that. This is probably just a command line program and either would work. Download for source code, 132 art bundles, and zip archive. Of course, I guess maybe that's not useful. Uh-oh. No such file or directory. Oh, is this a... public? Okay. process is the thing that builds that. I guess we could try setting this up. To see if that sets some things up for us. Build for production. Optional, okay. Oh, I didn't really look to see if it made directories. Public, no. It made a dist. Still no static though. So I guess he just hand created those. All right, so notes for setup. We have, what was it, static and static edge. And hopefully that's it. So if you were at base directory, and I should probably do some sort of like git keep file with that, but maybe in a bit. So these are probably get ignored. Process is, oh, static and static edge. And apparently there's a static dev that gets used sometimes. I'm not sure what the switch is for that, but that could make sense. All right, so that's ignored. So we would do something like, well, that could be from anywhere. Touch, public, static. And then it wouldn't even notice that because it's ignored. And this was, I guess. Notes, I'm not sure about that. Could almost go into more of a README. Uh-oh. No such file or directory. Static edge. Wait, is this the same thing? Is it public static guide sprites that it's not finding? One tech process, down one, public, static edge. Well, we can... I mean, there's a bunch of directories in here. It'd be kind of a shame if... Oh, nope, that needs to be a folder. That's a make dir. We had to touch all of them. Or maybe something about the Windows for Linux doesn't support make dir p in certain situations. I wonder if we know what operating system Jason hosts on. Is there a default for Linode? That would be a shared CPU. Maybe they don't even cover the operating system installation. Distributions, yeah, so it could be whatever. But if we did like a Ubuntu on Docker, that could, the sock setup could be a problem for that. We'd have to get a URL and download it. Converting sprite images. Nope, public static edge sprites. No such file or directory. Did I typo static edge? What? Copy. Okay. Now you see, that says no such file or directory. I guess maybe we do it ls like... Okay, So it's not actually outputting the sprite, and then it's going to try and find it. So maybe this is a technically working but not actually working Cairo thing. Constructor, parse line, parse value. No, this is the wrong kind of sprite. What would actually be doing that? Object? I mean, sprite doesn't include the sprite drawing. Static dir. So game data. Oh, main. Is there like a sprite processor? Sprite processor. That still doesn't seem like it includes enough drawing code. And there's render. It's not spritester. Sprite ID.text. No, that's probably loading it. Not PNG. So draw sprite image. Well, okay, so that handles drawing. Image equals. You're given a context. Is it a different processor? Like sprite just handles one thing. Main processor. Read file. Out path. Sprite.png. Oh. Is spawn sync failing? Oh, because he has to go through and convert everything. Well, now, maybe. No, because my other one is still doing this. Sounds like this call is failing. And we've probably downloaded things by now. Maybe because I've got the Windows convert. Maybe it has to be convert.exe. I don't know. So we're going to have to look up spawn sync and see if there's anything we can determine about the success or failure of that, I guess. Okay, so yes, it is trying to call. For those two paths, and that's not doing anything. So is spawn sync a system thing or is a thing of child process? Child process. We are on version 10. CWD, input, argv, stand env, timeout, kill signal, returns object. Is it main processor? No. Game data. Because it's sync. Does the Windows version of convert not accept the slash? I think I had that problem with the other OneLife stuff too. I ended up doing that in the MSys shell with its own version of things. Error, spawn sync convert eno ent. That probably means it couldn't find the executable, huh? Well, we know that which is a useless program here. Not found, but can be installed. Okay. So we know we at one point installed a Windows ImageMagick. I guess we need to have one in this context. It did say install ImageMagick, but it's like, geez, I already installed two. GraphicsMagick, ImageMagick, compat. There's that too. I mean, to be fair, I end up doing that most of the time. I mean, it was kind of a thing in Ruby, but mostly just worked. The problem is that paths are fundamentally strings. So maybe if you were doing something in like, Elm or a really static language, you could try to make all of your file interface stuff only accept some kind of path object that had to be constructed with the proper things. And maybe there'd be like an import, but then the import would try to figure out which slash you were using and abstract it properly. Or maybe it would have to be like import Windows path, import Unix path. Oh no, the versions aren't separate. Those are the versions. The versions actually seem the same for those last two. So I don't know what HDRI is. Ah, path.resolve figures it out. Okay. Okay, apparently I can't type. You just gave me the command! That's the second time that the command they gave me has failed. Maybe this is like a thing with, it's part of Ubuntu but not part of Windows for Linux. How the heck do you do this? Ubuntu or WSL. Well, that's one option. Okay, apparently I can just use image magic. Apps deleted. Has no installation candidate. The app does not have any idea. Oh, apt-get update. Okay, sudo. Maybe we've just never done this. We were able to install some other stuff, though. So like maybe that was like more standardized packages. So I might not actually need the paths now that it's, you know, actually doing anything. So it's probably still doing data right now. Let's see if we can get away with all that. Oh, and we still have console logs, so it's going to get very spammy. Hopefully the console output doesn't slow us down too much here. So it's not an error. These take some interpretation. We're also not seeing a folder just yet. Wait, is status the like return code? And is that an error code? And yeah. Okay. And we took out our response. We don't get to see Maybe we should check the return value here. So from a successful call, it is status. So that looks like we've got buffer none. Oh, so these must be like individual outputs. So it's buffer of nothing and then buffer of stuff that you might be able to print. Status 0. We still don't have the, you know what, now I want to test this theory. See if that's required or not. Because I was just doing that because they weren't ending up existing. And it was actually a problem with executing convert. All right, so we've got image magic sucks for sounds. We think we probably don't need this. Oh, status 1. Okay, so we need some part of that. Static edge. Let's try. Do we need the sprites directory? So we need at least this. Oh, okay, it does need a sprites directory. So this would be... Now, we might need other subdirectories as well. Oop. Public static sprites. Did I fix this one? I did not. And we had actually made stuff. Now, for my purposes, this is actually something I want to tweak. Separate the sprites directory from the objects directory because I want the objects and I don't currently use the sprites. Now, I've contemplated moving object rendering into the front end. Possibly the fact that one tech elected not to do this is a signal that it would be too much. Especially given all the Cairo dependencies, it almost sounds like he tried to do it in the front end and then fell back to back end. All right, so this sounds to me, and I forget what was status. Subprocess terminated to signal. Error object if the child process failed or timed out. I kind of feel, and this should almost be like a PR to the base. Like this should, it should check this. I mean, I guess it will fail. That sprite doesn't exist, but that would better tell you that it was because convert failed. No, was it not you? No, it's game data. No, I mean JSON style. Well, I guess there's two. Yeah, there'd probably be something useful in buffer, but I'd have to look up. Well, that's showing output null buffer. And also stand out and stand error. I'd almost have to get back into that error state and figure out how to deal with that. But the big one is sort of stop us at the first step there. You know what? Stop us. Well, maybe inversion. In case there's some sort of error handler upstream. So actually, and then the rest of this stuff does get built. If we moved this up to here, that would cause the static directories to exist. And for the first time, it has to back process all versions. Okay. I thought it was just a matter of manually adding. Like that's just a check if you add a directory that got ignored. Yeah. So now it's going through all of history, differencing everything, which is thankfully more of a one-time process. All right, so the result, well, there's some cleanup I want to do here. So you've done your stuff. I guess it's calculating versions before it outputs stuff. So, like, for my purposes, I might want to separate sprites from, well, they've got an objects folder. So there's sprites, and there's obj. So I guess it would be obj. And I won't even necessarily need the prefix on here because we're doing if we're doing different directories. Sprites, just ID. Well, I'm currently have obj blah in my file names for the map, so there's really no point in changing that. So you do to sprites. Is it sprite processor that does obj? And this gets a PNG dir. Oh, but it uses it for both. So maybe it would actually have to be subdirectories. But the structure right now is static sprites. So you get, what's a sprite stir? Oh, that's the text. But this is built to all work in one directory. So basically it would have to get 2 directory paths and use them appropriately. It wouldn't be just PNG dir. Static dir plus sprites, data dir plus sprites. Yeah, so if you did the extra argument, that would be a pretty easy switch. Now, except for my purposes, we don't actually need the raw sprites for anything. So as terms of I almost want to say the raw sprites should be someplace else rather than static. Unless I go for the thing where I someday actually build stuff from bits, I just start publishing them. It's just, like twice as much data, that's all. The ideal world for me, we haven't even done that yet. It's still doing all the versions off of that, I guess. Biomes, yeah, I just don't output some of these things. I don't even need to make the directories. Yeah, so I could skip that. I could skip that. We do spawns. We skip stones. We do spawns. And then I would need to make sprites. To somewhere in process. We just need like a new sprites directory. Now he does have the 2 different directories going on. I guess there could technically be changes between the versions and sprites. All right, well, all that means that all that's changing this running copy. So even though I don't know that I'm going to end up using like a Docker, I think that could be a good exercise in getting a reproducible build for it. Because that's set up to redo things from scratch. Can we use you for that? Users JLove. All right, so this does not... I've already put too much stuff in my current Docker folder project. If anything, some of it could use to get broken down. I will be looking there for inspiration a lot. Because there's going to be command sequences and things. All right, so we got some shells to run things. Might want to... Is this going to be... This could potentially be another two-stage server. Because you don't actually need any of the Git stuff. It's just like the public directory. Okay, so the problem... Yeah, actually... How does this... This isn't really well set up for a Docker environment. Well... Because all this data processing that it has to do. Okay, so there's the Git directory. Which I think I didn't use a mounted volume there because of just access speed. No, oh, a system-mounted volume, which could be pre-updated. I could use a volume for One Life Data 7. I could use a volume for public. I'm not sure how that would work with... Because I think there was some stuff that was statically in here. I think if you mount in, then that gets copied from the image, and then things happen. All right, so from a standard unmodified directory. All right, so referencing you. You're nothing. So with these, well, this is part because I've had a bunch of projects. This would be more aimed at somebody who maybe didn't want to use Docker and did want to do the full clone and build every time. So I might be able to just not necessarily do the subdirectory thing. Although maybe it would be good good hygiene to have a Docker directory anyway, because I'll have some scripts and things. So what do we call you? Just context. Oops. Because we're only going to have one build. We're going to need a Docker file. You are in Ubuntu. What is current Ubuntu version? Oh, okay. Uh, okay, so that was a long-term support, but since there's a new one that's probably going to be falling out. Uh, so could we then, would that be focal? So that's Docker. What is it the hub? No. What's the public repository? It says hub. Okay, this actually lets me search. That's just Ubuntu, but that could I could see that changing underneath you. Oh, but maybe they've got the tags for versions. Latest. There's Xenial. Rolling, groovy, focal. apt-get update. Error with sudo apt-get dictionary commons. Okay, so it looks like we didn't have to do this. So we'll leave it out of here for now. I had an install command. And maybe this would be a better place for notes. So we've got image magic. So this is for Cairo. Oh, that was the base OHL dev. I think there's some stuff that's, well, that's that. I don't have a bulk comment, do I? All right, so for Neo, how about we... All right, Cairo. I almost want to have this in there. I have to get update. So we're going to have this stuff at some point. That's the rough format we want to use, but with different stuff. I might want that, but I can come back to it. Run commands. Some copying commands. Hey, look, a mictor. Workdir. Some runs, and then we have an ultimate command, which might be like serve it or something. So the first step really is going to be we need to... So I guess I install this. Ubuntu... Not a Docker command. What is that then? I've got most of my stuff scripted out, so I never have to look at it. Like package server run. Docker run, rmit. -- rm -it. All right. So I should probably do that. And maybe I do want to get a machine going so we can have that step done. Yeah, that'll be a bit slow for testing stuff. All right, so apt-get update. We're not ready with you yet. I mean, we do need the Cairo dependencies, but I'd still rather have it a little bit ordered. Okay, well, we can explore. So, apt-get search node. Invalid operation search. Update, upgrade, install, remove, purge. Retrieval of packages. How do we search the Ubuntu repository? Apt cache. Oh, geez. That they packagized all the they tried to packagize JavaScript or the Node ecosystem apparently. How do I find just Node.js? How about npm? It's a little bit smaller. Node global modules. Node is npm. npm log. All right. Apt cache. Show source records. Search a readable record for the package. .14. What version of Node does that correspond to? Node OSN. Node.js greater than or equal to 6.11. Okay. So I guess Node.js is the package. Which makes sense. Version 10. Now this version matters to us. So it happens to be 10 on Focal. How certain of that can we be? To the latest version. I mean, that might tell us something about it. How to install. The N module for npm to upgrade node. npm cache. Install N. Huh, okay, so it's a node version manager for Node. deb.nodeSource setup node source. Precise, you might want to read about node 13, node 12, node 11, and node 10. Already an older distros. So that's Node. Does that include NPM though? Using Debian as root, deb.nodeSource setup x10. So slightly different bash versions. Oh, okay. We'll have to get that one in our install list. And then maybe we would put in like Cairo packages and stuff in that list. Oh, they went to a sudo bash. Package required. To install, and you may also need development tools. And they're just saying GCC G++ make. They're recommending Yarn, which I guess it would still use the package format. Seems like, Now, the local NPM was like 6 or greater. So that's probably fine. So we will need curl. Now the problem is apt-get, since it requires, and I see I've already installed it. So let's get, okay, so we have curl installed, we have apt-get update. I guess we'll leave that as a separate line for now. Where are, I open a editor for this. So your run, package server is a little bit weird because it's doing a child build. Do I have too much junk here? Okay. How about build server for the first step? Okay, version, tag it. Okay, Docker file and context run directory. Oh, I guess I do need some kind of tag here, huh? So that we can actually find it to run it. Meanwhile, We're at version 79. That's actually getting pretty close to the start. Of course, it might try to reproduce that for the non-edge version. Although maybe you could interrupt it and copy, I'm not sure. Alright, so Docker run. We now want to run our work in progress 1 tech. Alright, so now if we apt get install npm suggested packages newly installed. Is that going to actually install a node version? Bunch of libs. Crikey. Node dash. Python? Maybe this is to be able to build zip packages and stuff. Yeah, it's installing Node.js. Ha 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 ha. That would end up in installing the wrong version. Well, maybe if you install... not in Debian. So that's much lighter. That might be all build support stuff. So currently in this, and it is an LTS version, it is Node 10. So we could just say, add a comment that this version currently has Node 10, which is what Cairo depends on. So stick with that if you change it. And then hope that an LTS version wouldn't change a package out from under you like that. So we don't necessarily expect that to fail. So that would be something that we could maybe go ahead. So we actually wouldn't necessarily need curl here. We'd need npm, and that will give us a... Okay, maybe that could just be the syntax highlighter. Right, was it? Yeah, npm install 10, because we were on 12 with the one thing, and it didn't link right. So then we had all of this support. Now I sometimes leave these things layered in case you update them, but this isn't going to be a significantly different process. Now, of course, we were in a WSL container. I'm not actually sure which version of Ubuntu that is. Maybe it's libcairo dev that needed a certain version. forget if I had something on here. Where is... Actually, that's probably just the index. Did I do anything to... Nope, I just left it off. Okay. No, G++ is a separate dependency. And I guess NPM wouldn't be a bad thing to have to actually have at the end, because it's something we always need. Image magic. There's probably any version would work. Socks might be a gnarly one. Oh. The libsocks 1D sample rate conversion library. Swiss are okay, so it sounds like libsocks, and then there should be a socks. Available. We got that. Well, this is going to come after we get a repository cloned and decide where the heck to put it. How is this? Version 20. I don't remember how far back the versions go. Maybe 18? Or maybe I'm just thinking of the first released version. Oh, okay, so 16 was the first version. Just a little bit too big. Oh, we need to add Git onto this. We'll eventually want to merge these. Because I think there's like a cost to a layer, but there's also, it takes a while to reinstall all of this stuff. And I'm not sure if there's any particular step that is taking up a lot here. So then, see, that's a run command. So I just made a root directory since it's a Docker container before. There is example. Did I do a make directory for that? Make dir. No, just okay. And copy context files for anything that we have to run. In container. Maybe that would just be, well, maybe this is stuff we can get into this shell whenever it's done. Install git and play around from there. I guess I was trying to start planning out the commands though while we waited. I guess there's always I mean, maybe he'd want to, like, if Jason was trying to step away, he'd want to, like, fork it to try and ensure it's stuck around. Git clone, and this is just give me any old shell. Actually, it's probably going to do a web browser. Okay, so it's trying to do console output, and something is... Oh my gosh. Is that one of the things I had a note about? Oh, this was after I started tweaking it. One of these, is it package server? No, because these were based on like Windows client, which were in Ubuntu. Or sudo apt-get dictionary comments. No, that's not it. And we need a Docker. Before adding the PPA. Behind other tools like you can set. Oh, now this is Debian. This is Ask Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Env equals. That's env tz ln. Oh! No install recommends. Interesting. Because there was a category that was recommended. Now, maybe... For your command affects commands after or child image. Oh, right, versus setting it in the entire image. Well, that's a big nasty command we can no longer reuse. I don't think they have. I mean, probably for a server, you just do UTC, right? I don't even know if this is actually interactive. Seems to be no. All right, so do I have a shell I can use right now? Okay. So we've got -y. Okay, yes, we get this. This is a different prompt. It's a different version? Yeah, okay. Do you wish to change it? So Debian front end equals non-interactive. SCUTC, okay, that's fine. Well, let's put git in now. Debian front end. And maybe we should give a try to no install recommends to cut stuff down. Now, we may have been counting on some of this stuff before. Things like npm installing node. I don't know which of those actually depended on TZ data. Did it? Recommends. I saw it listing recommended packages. Maybe it still doesn't install them. Oh. Well, this is gonna fail. Oh, and The experimental terminal stuff was working pretty good for a while, but or maybe it's just the Windows shell stuff that's working the output for these commands. We have examples. Clone. Okay, so yeah, just path. So we've got workdir, which is where this stuff happens. It's been a while since I did that. Does it affect all commands? Well, yeah, no, that would affect where this runs, I think. That's a command, though. Yeah, I mean, that's an answer. Okay, copy. So let's setting it once. It's the working directory for run command entry point copy add. Is workdir instead of proliferating like run command? Oh, run cd. So probably our workdir is just going to straight up be one tack. And then can do that. Are we going to need any other files? Well, hopefully we don't need any other files. All right, so we clone it. So if you're setting up an actual one-tech install, we would like to be able to run npm install. Well, I should probably, this is where we should test stuff out step by step. Oh, okay, managed to reuse something, I guess. All right, and now we should be able to reuse some layers from there. Now, with that cloned into here, maybe that'd be a problem for updating. Okay. npm install, npm run build. Skipping optional, skipping optional. Okay. So there's that. Processing might almost be the kind of thing you want to set up on an install script, but there is going to be like that sort of one-time setup. Now, I was thinking that for a given version of OneTech, and maybe the build does depend on the source, so maybe that would be okay to have built in. We could have dependencies for process installed. And this is where things can get a little hairy. Okay, so that should run. And I mean, I guess technically we can do that. Maybe the make dir should almost be part of that. It's all run commands. Now this is getting long enough. But I think we can do this. All right, so that will get the basic stuff set up. The rest is the data updates. Data updates, we probably want to do volume. I had, in one of my too many windows, Windows client, a whole Docker, this client, you don't use volumes. Package server run uses volumes. Mount. And this is, we kind of have to do in a Unix environment because, the PWD was only because we're binding a local file in. For volumes, which would have to declare what we need somewhere. So there's a data git repository and a produced files. And you probably could do that as one volume with some linking, but it seems just as easy to use two volumes. It would go to OneTech. Would it be public? Well, we've got static and static edge, so it kind of would be public. And does he... What does the actual run setup look like? Build for production, run for dev. Processing script. Modded support. Push the changes. Intermove static. GitHub pages. Well, I guess it's basically just serving static files. So that's just assuming that you've got CloudFront or something serving it. In which case we have to figure out how to install a server in here to make the Docker part of it actually be a functional thing. Or we do a merge mount on public, and then that's just the files. That would make all of the processing maybe a little bit slow. But that means that there is no command unless we install a web server. Well, we still have to see if we can get processing to run. And actually, we can get this set up, and then it's a really slow process. But Dockers are transient, so we can see if stuff kind of runs. Oh, I guess this is where we'd have the context file that's like... run an update. Now, I think in the base version, download implies everything. Run script, including download its latest and processing sprites. Yeah, so by default, we don't get any feedback on this until sprites just don't show up. Oh, if we have the idea that this is not necessarily a Docker image, maybe we'd want to look at putting stuff in more standard locations. Or rather, this is an example of how to maybe set things up. So where would that be? It's been a while since I actually like used Unixy stuff. This is probably like just a question about like Unix directory structure in general. Where would you install a web app to? MATLAB web server. To install programs. It's not like, is it program? Development web server. var www. Okay. Now, the public directory is going to have to end up being its own path for whatever web server we set up. Now, is that supposed to be like web accessible files, or is that like we've got this directory of stuff? Because we like got this, and maybe it should just be like installed in like home, you know, home one tech, and then we put files. Yeah, so that's where it just serves a root. So you like copy public. There's unfortunately incomplete documentation about where the actual production setup is at. This is like for Java or something. Yeah. This is more of a code-based server. Opt Tomcat. So they're doing stuff into opt. Killing a home bin. Okay. So would that make, well, okay, so assuming, you know, not a single container file system. Where you can just do root directories willy-nilly. Would opt be a root, I mean, like opt or home would be a place to do that? Yeah, that's all Java stuff. I mean, I guess this isn't really a node server, it's just a server. Opt or user local. Arch Linux. Now, it's all going to the default installation stuff. But it's Ubuntu path guidelines. No, directory structure. Linux and Ubuntu. Okay, so you're still working, oh, okay, so you seem to have been processed without errors. You're not printing that you export versions. Root directory, executable programs, needed single user mode, boot dev, device files, host specific configuration files, HTML, X11, XML, home directories for users, shared libraries, modules let defend media, add-on packages that contain static files, served by the system, usually mounted from a separate partition, only shareable read-only data by various machines. User games. Huh. That's like a network mount type of thing? Object libraries, user programs which are local to the site. Locally installed programs. May change in size. Well, it's going to end up with data. Variable data for opt. That's kind of information overload. Optional add-on applications. User programs. Yeah. Largest instruction in the unit system, like to have a separate partition. There's source code, pictures, docs, config files. Individual vendors. Well, yeah, I guess I was just wondering if there was any, like current actual convention for using it. Partly replicates the root directory. Well, this says opt is not handled by package manager. Well, it's more of a system package. You see, I've already put workdir into this file, but we can go into, well, if whenever it's done. Oh, it's done. Okay, so we got sprites. Huh. Oh. This is the standout problem. It just wasn't printing them. Well, so that pure in-memory one was actually much faster. It's essentially a transient container. All right, so that's actually running. We might want to change. So if we can do that, and go to. Oh, well, we are in fact in slash. I'm root. So if we did home, well, in Docker there is no home. Or no prepared home. Nothing opt. So, bunch of stuff in there. I mean, maybe just like opt1 tech would be a slightly more standard location than root. You know, if you were installing this on more of a standard server. Although, what'd you say? var for www? We have no www because we haven't installed a web server. I guess maybe in that case you would like link var www to public and just make that the root directory. And then in order to preserve data between runs, it would do something like that. And this is where it has to run in the so maybe the run command is to update then? Oh, but if it's in the, well, no, if you mount it to update and you mount it to update and then mount it to run the server. But that would be an in-process command, which I usually do a context script for that. Oh, okay, our example file ended up there. Okay, so that's my local one tech. There's a whole Docker. And actually, I think I'm kind of done with this anyway. So that would be like a update. Oh, cd opt one tech process. Just so we can run it from anywhere. And this is where we do where do you run from? Actually, did he have... no, we need the actual... One of these is in here. He has dev and build. Right, so those were commands that were given. Process, package, nothing. Where does that actually live? I mean, probably it could just live there. And for now, we leave that as a manual run. And then... no. Was I doing shell or bash before? I've got that open already. Yeah, I'm just using bin shell for these. Nope, that was not this one. Might need to do more tagging. Anyway. Alright, so my other ones, package server run. If it's a server, it will need a port. So we've got one tech public. And one tech data. So the default command for this, well, for now this is fine. We are operating in the cross mount, so probably this is going to have to do Yeah, the other one would... Context, oh. Since this is the actual Unix shell, it cares about line endings. Wait a minute. That's build. Oh, yeah, then at the end of this line. We were okay in the Docker file. And we're generally okay. Wasn't I using these files? Oh, I wonder if... No, because I made a fresh clone of that. Well, maybe it was actually a translatable file. Get attributes. Text auto dot shell. All right. Dot patch. Windows client cross. Files that are going to be copied into the target system. Now this is well, these are get attributes, so that affects how it gets checked out. Yep. I'm not sure how that works. That affects checkout. We've already got files. Well, probably. You don't matter that much. So update. You might not want to convert them. No, it's a DOS file and use DOS conventions for live endings. That's for new typed stuff, right? Maybe. Okay. That might get a little dot. Well, I think it'll figure that out when opening the file in the future. Don't remember that many errors last time. All right, so we are here. Oh, I didn't create my volumes. Did it implicitly create them? Yeah, okay, it implicitly created them. Watch out for typos. Oh, that's... Wait. Isn't this just doing... Oh, because I'm not... CD opt one tech process, node process download. There's something weird with the mounts. Oh, you know what? Probably messed it up. Is that they're assuming that if the directory exists, it is a fully cloned copy, and all we need to do is update it. Well, it's basically just a... It's basically just doing a git operation. But we have to do it into that directory. The path probably is in here somewhere. Oh, I'm down at a level where I have all the data directories. Should have gone up to processing. Yeah, it's like, I want to mount that directory, but doing so creates the directory. I was going to complain that already exists. Okay. What would we do? Well, it's failing on the objects folder. What was the thing that all of the processing scripts use? Fetch latest tagged. Yeah. And I think it just kind of worked out the directory okay. However, that is a file in the context, so we have to rebuild. Oh, and that was into a volume, so we didn't necessarily test the script there. No. Because, no, CD process. CD process. Did I actually get my update? Yeah. How do I command line test the if exists command? I guess we just have to type the whole thing out. Or maybe, can you not do path separators on the exists? Command not found. Oh, must be separate. That must be significant white space. If not exists. What? And why is this not working? All right, here's. Oh, do I even have an editor here? More dependencies than I expected. Oh, it's got Python support. Wait. What? Right. I mean, I guess maybe .git would be an even better thing to test for, but... Now, in theory, that should actually work. This is just giving me bash right now. Did I set run up? I did not. Oh, but you had a default command. Until we have a server, that's not a bad default command. Hmm? Oh. Right, 'cause that just put me in a shell. Yeah, that was the command. All right, so that is a data build. We don't have a way to either use it or get it out. What are you based off of? Well, you've got an existing container. CentOS 7. Wait. And Ubuntu? Well, maybe that's... Yeah. Docker Hub. Okay. So we're basing this on a Apache specific, which... But what's that based on then? If you just wanted to serve the files, well, we put public into a volume. So you could indeed use a different container to serve it. Use your local Apache 2 httalks. Well, I presume, well, I mean, for instruction of how to set up one tech, I mean, Jason knows how to run a web server and he's got his own web server. Having a little container that could just run it might be kind of nice. But if you're actually doing Docker, then perhaps... Can Docker containers share a volume? Do you share data between volumes? Also share a Docker volume too many containers. That's serially. I don't... I'm saying, could you actually have this on running containers? Persists when created Docker. Restart the container, the volume will mount automatically. Oh, right, because it's restarting an existing container, which maybe for a server you would do. Sharing data between multiple containers. Multitudes attach the same volume. Doesn't handle file locking. We don't have multiple containers writing to the volume, so that's fine. Volumes from container. All right, so we could also play one with read-only on it, just to be sure. So building up a full web server could be another hour of messing around, and I kind of want to eat lunch. So what do we got? That's still running. The lack of output is kind of annoying. That's a whole Docker. So if we end up with a processor and a server for a full Docker setup, then oh wait. That wasn't where I wanted it. It probably covers most things, but no, because it doesn't cover these. We don't really need that anymore. Probably want to clean up notes, and that could even almost turn into a README for this. That's the Docker stuff. So really the Docker file is essentially a build script. So that could do with a little cleanup. It could possibly do with a little HTTP container to grab the public volume and serve it for a Docker-ish setup. All right. I'm always thinking about, is there anything else I need to do? But I think I just need to end. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who hosted me. Let's see if there's anything to recommend. Let's see, we're doing pretty much DevOpsy stuff today. That's about when I'm usually on. GUI library stuff. Yeah, all right, so back down to Relay programming. Somebody's playing with some virtual ants. We're gonna play someplace cool to hang out. Someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye until next time.